Mamma mia, it hasn't even been a full day, and already this collection is just getting absolutely destroyed online, especially when it comes to the multiplayer aspect of the game. And keep this in mind, it hasn't been a full 24 hours, and already this game is getting so much hate online, and it's just getting absolutely ridiculed. Now, before I do get started with this video, I do want to just say this. I personally never really bothered with online multiplayer when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront, mostly the classic ones. You know what I'm saying? I never really cared about the online aspect, but however, a lot of people bought the classic collection for the sake of getting that online multiplayer experience. And people are just, like I've said already, they're just destroying this game. And unfortunately, Aspire and LucasArts have just dropped the ball on this one and just upset a lot of people. So I decided to try and get a look with my own eyes and see how bad it is like everyone said it was. And so what I did was I tried to join a online game, and if that didn't work, then I would try to make a game of my own. And well, here's how it went. So, from the footage I just showed you, that was me trying to set up a public lobby for other people to join in and play. And as you can tell from that clip, my game was stuttering and freezing, and just even struggling to create, if not find a game. And already I was thinking to myself, like, okay, this is just not all right. So I decided to wait for 3 minutes, if not 5 minutes at most. And if that didn't work, I'll just try to join a session, right? Well, I tried to join a session, and this is how this went. So, not even 5 seconds into the session that I joined, not even 5 seconds, my game was already freezing and stuttering, and the frame rate was dropping. Now, keep this in mind, the match didn't even start just yet, and already the online multiplayer has just been completely falling apart like a stack of cards. Like, it's no wonder why people are getting so angry and upset for the online multiplayer, because people wanted to buy the Battlefront Classic Collection to get that multiplayer experience, and people are just not happy with this. And honestly, I feel bad that people spent money on this game and unfortunately didn't get what they wanted with the multiplayer experience. Fortunately, though, there is still some good news for this game. And you're probably wondering, hold on a second, Nightwing. How is there any good news for this game? The multiplayer is a complete abomination and it barely functions at all. How is there any hope left for this trash of a game, Nightwing? Please explain. Okay, so let me say this. You know the offline mode, right? That is pretty much the main staple of Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. Well, luckily, that holds up very, very well, and it's so buttery smooth, and the game functions like normal, as it should. and you can play the game in split screen co-op or split screen versus with a friend or a family member, and you get to play Galactic Conquest, which is very amazing, by the way. And instant action, you get to play Hero Assault on pretty much every single map, and the game functions and actually holds up a solid 60 frames per second on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Nintendo Switch if you're playing offline. So realistically, this should have been an easy and simple port for LucasArts and Aspyr Studios, right? Well, unfortunately, no. When it came to the multiplayer part of the game, unfortunately, the developers have just dropped the ball on this one when it came to online multiplayer. And as a matter of fact, I've been hearing a lot of rumors and reports on how people are even trying to get a refund for this game because the multiplayer is just basically unplayable. And I completely understand people's frustrations, and I completely understand why at this point, especially because the modern gaming trend has just been getting completely out of control here. But however, like I've mentioned earlier, there is still some good things about this game, especially if you look at it like the graphics are much better than the originals. The gameplay is buttery smooth with a solid 60 frames per second. The gunplay is very well done. And realistically speaking, if we ignore all the problems with the multiplayer and we just focus on this offline mode here for a minute, this is realistically the game that we all wanted. I mean, look at it like this. We technically got the game that everybody has wanted, but when it comes to online multiplayer, that's just where unfortunately the developers just struck out in the ball game here. I am grateful that we got this game again for the classic collection, but the multiplayer could have been handled much better. And if you want to know my criticism about this game, my honest 100% criticism, my one negative I have with the classic collection is this. There are no physical copies for this game for the sake of game preservation. That is my one and only negative criticism for Star Wars Battlefront the Classic Collection. There's no physical copies for the Classic Collection for preserving the game. And you're probably wondering, well, Nightwing, why do you want to try to preserve this game? We're starting to head into a digital only future. And that's exactly why. Because if you remember, time and time and time again, the way that digital distribution has been going, I would rather get a physical copy of that game if something bad were to happen to my digital copy of the game. Like if the servers get shut down, I can just play the game offline as my phone goes off like crazy. I don't know why, but Jesus Christ. As I was saying, we can get a physical copy for the game when the servers get shut down or if something bad happens to our digital copy, so we can still play the game that way. Realistically speaking here, we have a solid game, and this is still the game that we all loved back from 2004 and 2005, but the only negative part about this entire game is just the online multiplayer, and it just doesn't work out that well. So, this is the way I look at this game, and this is my personal recommendation for you folks. If you want to get Star Wars Battlefront the Classic Collection, I strongly advise that you play this game in single player or you play it in split screen co op with a friend of yours and just play the game that way until Aspyr and LucasArts gets their butts in gear and they fix the multiplayer crisis that everyone's losing their marbles over. So, that is just my recommendation for you folks. I am personally having a great time with this game, and I'm having a blast playing this, but seeing all these people having problems with the multiplayer, it makes me truly sad because I want people to enjoy this game and have fun, but the developers are gonna fumble the bag here and just make these mistakes. That's gonna be on them, especially when it comes to a legendary title like Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 from like 2004 and 5. So, LucasArts and Aspire Studios, you got a lot of work to do. And if I were you, I would kick things into overdrive quickly and get this multiplayer working fast because people are already losing faith in you and people are just moving on to other games. So, if I were you, LucasArts and Aspire Studios, I would get the multiplayer in check fast. The game that you made here, it's fantastic and solid. I mean, all you did was literally just do a simple copy and paste port that have improved the graphics and gameplay a little bit, but the multiplayer, you guys really need to work on that. So get to it. It's Aspire. You got a lot of work to do. So, with this being said, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. I apologize for rambling. And until next time, I'm talking about the massive controversy surrounding Star Wars Battlefront, the Classic Collection. And I'll see you all later.